you holding up, everyone? My name is Prophetess Cherlyne. I'm here in the podcast with Mr. Brooklyn Boone, the host of this podcast. If you have not tuned in, you need to subscribe, like, and tune in because you don't know what you're missing. Don't miss the next episode of this season that's coming up. If you don't be there, you're going to be square.
I said it twice, I hope you got it. I won't say it again. Talk to him. I got a podcast for that. Wanna talk business? I got contracts for that. Hey, 99 problems, got one answer for that. God, it's gonna work out. I drop gems just for that. Yeah, talk to him. I got a podcast.
Great day and God bless. You are now tuning in to How You Holding Up, the podcast, and I am your host, Brooklyn Boone. On today's episode, we have not one, but two very special guests. We have Woodeline St. And we have Prophetess Cherlyne Charles.
Hello, everybody.
Let's talk. Now, both of you ladies share quite a bit in common, and that is serving God and empowering women. What does that look like both personally and professionally? Let's start with you.
I feel like there's no way to divide that. It's, you know how they say it's one body in Christ? I feel like professionally and even with my walk is one. Who you are behind closed doors is who you are in front of everybody else. So I feel like when it comes to that walk, my walk in general is more so of you meeting me where I am now, but there's a story behind that. So who you may have known me to be before that is not who I am today. So for me, in any aspect, whether it's in business or personal, you're going to always see him in me, regardless, in any shape or form. So for me, there's no dividing that because even in business, some of my clients will hear me minister to them, you know, so it's going to always be him at any time, any given time, because you never know when God is going to say, I need you to deliver this. Like you're on an assignment because everything you do is ministry. I always label my business as ministry. So in any way that you show up, you're showing up in the form of ministry. So no matter what aspect that falls under, you can't stop God from coming out when it's time for him to show up. So it's either that's what it is or that's what it's not. So for me, there's no dividing that. My walk with him is personal, and it's also in profession. So you're going to always see him through me in every way.
I would love to hear your response before I comment.
For me, I believe that the way it's with personal and business, separating the two, at some point there are times where we get in certain situations where we don't see God. Because I would say personally for me, where I've been in a place where grieving, when I lost a lot of people in my life, at some point in my life, I was upset with God. I didn't want to see God. I didn't want to hear about God.
Yeah, I get it.
So when that time came, you couldn't get me to even open my Bible to pray or even say anything about God. And then at transition time where when I'm in church, it's like, okay, I have to be in church because now I'm trying to see something deeper, but it's still something that I'm missing. So within the two, or differentiation of two, it's just more so there's a time and place where we're still human and things are going to transition and things are going to come about where we're going to be in that place where it's not going to always be God in the center.
That's true.
So for me, I've been in the partial part where God was here. And right now he's here with me. In a part of my life before he wasn't, because I didn't see him, even though I know he was still here physically because his word says he would never leave or forsake us. But for me, I turned my back. I was just like, you turned your back on me. So I didn't see God at that time. So it's going to be different areas and times in your life where you're not going to be in tune with him.
That's true. I agree.
Now, Woodeline, you said that when people see you, and I'm sure you can agree because I believe we all can, you said when people see you, they see Christ. For those who don't know what the fruit of the Spirit is, can you just elaborate on that?
For those who don't know, let me see the best way I could put it. I would say
describe who you are through Christ. Describe who Christ is through you.
It's always remembering my identity through him, because we do have seasons where we forget that identity because we get caught up in the world. And how we respond is based off the world. Right. So for me, what that genuinely looks like is more so just showing up authentically as who you are, because the Holy Spirit will shift you. So for me, it was, even though people who knew me always heard about God through me, it was a point where it was more so about the world too. You know, like appearance wise, conversation wise, things I would entertain, things I would show up for. And for me, it was also reminding myself back to my roots. Because the hardest part is getting back to your roots.
Oh yeah.
It's sometimes hard getting back to your roots because, like they said, we already born into sin.
Right.
So it's a place of comfortability. It's comfort. And when you have to shift out of comfort, it's hard.
Yeah.
Because you've never been there before.
Yeah.
So when you got to get to a place that you've never been to, is how do I get there? And for me, it's always reminding myself, even for those who don't understand what that looks like, is don't hesitate going back to reminding yourself where the roots started, because that helps you grow. And we have to get to a place where we have to understand who I was before cannot serve me where I am now. So especially when you start to get into your word and you start to have more of that in you, it's going to change you.
For sure.
So your thought process changes. The way you handle people change. You start to even have more grace for people. The way you respond is, it's okay. Even if the other party you want to, snatch them up,
Right.
but you tend to have grace. You start to show love differently. Like the pain, any pain that you could have dealt with, even if it was hatred at some point, all of that shifts. So for me, what I would say that would look like for those who don't know is don't be afraid of change. Change is part of our day-to-day life. It's part of the aspect of growing. So don't be afraid of change. Don't worry about what the world has to say. They don't know what you go through behind closed doors. So just allow yourself to shift and go through that transition and always believe and know that no matter what it looks like to anyone else, God is still walking with you. So you're not always going to find yourself in a place of wanting to be kind. You're not always going to find yourself in a place of wanting to forgive. But you have to remind yourself that carrying those burdens, those weights, it don't serve you any good. And that's the hardest part for a lot of us, because we get comfortable. This is what I know. This is all I know. Well, I'm comfortable here. But it's okay to allow yourself to go on the other side. It's like praying for something, but not preparing yourself for what you pray for. You have to prepare yourself for what you pray for, because then you find yourself going in the cycle of wondering, why am I not receiving what I've been asking God for? Now you mad at God. Whole time he hear you, he's waiting on you. It's what are you doing behind closed doors when you're asking God for something? Are you preparing yourself? Are you letting go of the things that are preventing you from receiving it? It's like trying, just like I said, you cannot mix old wine with new wine.
Yeah.
Right? So imagine asking God for anything, but you want to take with you the old things. You can't take that with you. You got to be okay with saying, this cannot go with me. She cannot go with me. He cannot go with me. This friendship cannot go with me. And for me, I would just honestly say, just give yourself grace. You have to give yourself grace, because you're human. We fall short, but when you fall, get back up. Get back up. Keep pushing, because you know what you go through. You know the nights that you shed tears that people don't see. You know the things that you had to endure when your back was against the wall and it was just you and God. And the only person you could call on was God. And a lot of us have those seasons where God will put us in a place where it's literally just you and God. Literally just you and God. So I would say just keep pushing no matter what it looks like. No matter what the obstacles may be. Yes, you're going to have your moments, and it's okay. You're human. You may cry if you have to. You may need to shout if you have to. But allow yourself to feel in the moment as well. Like one thing I always say, even in my women ministry and Bible study, in order to heal, you have to feel. You can't run from the process of feeling, because then you don't know what you're dealing with if you're not allowing yourself to feel it. So you have to feel what you're going through, process it, analyze the situation that you're in, the time that you're in order to know what needs to be done, what needs to change. So to me, I would say that looks like being true to yourself. Like my spiritual mother, your truth.
There we go. You
have to be true to yourself. Because if you're not, who else gonna be real with you? So I would say that what that looks like is just being true to yourself and reminding yourself who you are and whose you are, and being real in your walk. It's not gonna look like everybody else's walk, and you got to be okay with that. So yeah.
I want to ask you though, right? Just listening to what Woodeline just expressed for us. How important is awareness of one's spiritual and physical nature so that they can feel in order to heal?
It's very important because you have to be in a right mental state to understand the walk that you're taking. When people say that they're ready to receive Christ as their personal savior, they're ready to they're ready to get baptized, for example. That's a way of knowing what you're getting yourself into. You're no longer in this world to consume the things of this world. Now you're shifting things. So now physically, you have to be prepared to know what it is that you're embracing, what it is that you're going to take. Because now, not just on the inside, on the outside, you're going to have people that's going to criticize you. They're going to talk about you. They're going to say that you feel like you're better than them. So you have to be prepared for that mentally, which comes with that mindset of knowing like, okay, I have to know that the only person I need validation from is Christ. So it's not going to be easy. The transition is not going to be easy. You're going to have that time frame where you're going to be emotionally down, spiritually, physically. It's going to be something draining because it's like, okay, it's easy to serve the things that not of God than to serve God.
For sure.
So now in that mindset mentally, and we have to know that mentally awareness is something we don't tend to talk about a lot. And that plays a major role because if you're not in tune mentally to know what you're getting yourself connected to and spiritually who you're connected to and have that right mindset to know when God is speaking, to be able to receive, to know the directions of what he's telling you to do. Because we have to understand discernment comes, you have to be physically prepared to have discernment. So in this time frame of being aware physically, you have to be in a place where you die to yourself. It comes with a lot in itself where people don't really understand the walk is not easy. When you take that, you say that yes and open up, you're letting everything die. You have to release everything in itself. So where it came down to going out, clubbing, all this other stuff that in tune with the world, it's going to be a mental breakdown because you can't have one foot in and one foot out. So when you're trying to please the friends and the family members, you're like, okay, I'm over here doing this and God, like, I'm still waiting on you. I'm over here. So how are you trying to balance? It comes with balance, but you have to know what it is that you're trying to leave behind and what you're going into.
Right.
So I feel like you have to be physically, mentally prepared to be in that place to receive what it is that God is doing. Spiritually, to get in tune spiritually is more of isolation. It's more of letting go of people and things that doesn't serve you anymore. But we don't want to change. We're so in tune of being comfortable in everything that we're not prepared to take on the heavy things because we're doubting ourselves. But all that comes into the mindset of the body. But when you in tune with God and you allow all those things, because that's just like the prodigal son was crowned before he was cleaned. Yeah. So that's just how God is with everybody. You come the way you are, come as you are, and let God do the shifting, let God do the changing. You cannot come to God and say, you know what, let me go ahead and freshen myself up first and I'm going to come to God. But you still got some residue on your shoes. Right. You still got some things that you're carrying that you don't even know, but you think you're not prepared mentally. You're like, I have to do all these things. And one of the things where I try to tell people when it comes with the walk of being physically and prepared to take on what God has for you, don't do it because you see everybody else doing it. It becomes a trend. Do it because this is something that you're willing to do, that you're open to do, because in this season, you can't take everybody with you. When you in front of God, you're by yourself. So I feel like you have to be prepared to understand what it is, the walk that you're taking, what you're receiving, and how you receive it. Not just how you receive it, but how you give it as well. Because there's a lot of people that take in certain things and they have their own doctrine. And now you listen to this person and your mental now, you get confused from, well, I was raised in this church and they told me this. Now I'm hearing this person say this. But I always tell people, find God for yourself. Go get that teaching of understanding your intimacy with God, that relationship with God for yourself, because we were told to love God when we were younger. I remember when I did a sermon and it was about love. And I asked the congregation, I was like, you know what, if it came down, if I brought a homeless man in here right now and I asked you, do you love him? The first thing you're going to say, I don't know him. But a lot of us were told to love God as a child. Your parents said, you love God, that's who you. But a lot of us love God, but we don't know him either. No, we don't have that personal relationship that we're supposed to have by ourselves. We were told to love him. So why can't we love a homeless person that God says you're supposed to love your brother and your sister unconditionally? but we tend to try to get that intimacy, what you like, who you are, before we get to bring love. Love's supposed to come genuinely, automatically. That's how God wants us to be. But in this season, but you have to have that mental state to understand physically what is it that you're doing with your walk with God. In your walk, you just can't take it and just do what you want to do. It has to be of God's will.
Go through a withdrawal, and it's okay.
I'm gonna save that. Now, what have you experienced that encourages you to serve both women and families? Is it out of obedience or desire? Because both of you also have that in common. Yeah.
I honestly believe it's both, because before I even had an understanding of what God was even going to call me to do, women naturally would gravitate to me.
Okay.
So it was just a natural desire to just, it's like he was already processing me without me knowing that he was processing me, if it makes sense. Because a lot of times, like she said, we try to be prepared or feel like, let me clean myself off before I go to God. But a lot of times he's already doing the work and we don't even notice that.
Don't even know it.
So before I even was aware of where it would go, he was already processing me. He was already aligning me in situations and with other women where that character that he was building out of me, it was already coming to flourish. And I wasn't noticing it. To me, it was just a natural thing, not realizing that it was something that he was building in the inside of me to serve him through ministry. So when it came to it, it then followed with obedience, because a lot of what I'm doing now, I wasn't doing before. So it was
Expound
more
on that.
as far as like with ministry.
Okay.
Like I was always in the church. I praise dance. I was in and out of it. But the way I'm rooted in it now, it wasn't always the same foundation. It's like the foundation had to be rebuilt. You know, when there's a crack in the concrete,
For sure.
and you do the work and you reconstruct it, it had to be rebuilt. So the obedience followed when my desire to have the relationship with him came. It was more so of, I don't just want to hear of you. I don't just want to be in the church, but I want to have a relationship with you.
Right.
So when that relationship established, the obedience followed, because now my point of view is different, because now I'm viewing you I'm viewing him in the form of, this is my father, my God, my creator. So I love you to the depth of where if you tell me to move now, wherever you tell me to go, I'm gonna go. And that's what my life has been in the last 3 years. If he said, I need you to go left, before I ask any instructions, even though I want to know what's next, I'm gonna go left, and I'm gonna say, Lord, you told me to go left. I followed. I'm gonna do it, but I need you to meet me when I get there. And that obedience came when that relationship was built, sitting with him, being in his presence. And honestly, that relationship was built in seasons of my brokenness, seasons of where I had no one else to call on but him, seasons of where my back was against the wall and it was just him, seasons of even losing my mother and it was just him. Even with my past life working the club, it was still just him. You know, no matter what anyone see, whether it was a smile on my face or me showing up, it was still just him. So when I sit back and I reflect on those things, it was like, how can I not be obedient? Because even when I wasn't worthy of, you still showed up. You were still present in every aspect. Even when you asked me to go right and I went left, you still showed up. Because there were situations where I could have been dead, but you showed up and saved me anyway. So for me, it's more so of, once I understood what that relationship meant to me, it was easier to be obedient. So now it doesn't matter what he tell me to do. And my mother would tell you, I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it scared.
Right.
Nervous and all. Like, I would call him and say, I don't know. I'm nervous, but I'm going to do it anyway. Oh, it's going to be too much people in the room. I don't know if I could do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. And one thing God showed me is, and just like he said in the book of Jeremiah, he's going to show up. He's going to prove to you that he's present. He's in the atmosphere. He's here. And in every season where I had to be obedient, where I had to show up, whether it was to serve or even in my ministry, he went before me. And it's after it came to pass that I would realize, oh, God was here. He showed up. Because whatever I felt before I walked through them doors, it's out the window. So for me, it was the relationship. I had to rebuild the relationship because I felt like the relationship I had as a child, at some point when I lost my mother, that relationship was broken. So I had to rebuild that relationship, and then the obedience followed.
You spoke about if you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it scared. I recently released a song called "Talk to Him" last year, right? With everything that I was experiencing at that time, even prior to it, I released the song on May 7th. I also performed it that same day at this fest, and I was reading the book of Joshua. I just finished reading Deuteronomy, and I just began on Joshua, the book of Joshua, and the command: be bold, be courageous. Have I not commanded you? If I tell you to do something, you better do it.
Yep.
When I
without delay.
When I was performing this song, it was as I'm performing, it's a group of people. They're just over there. They're speaking while I'm serving in my ministry, right? And I went over there without hesitation, and I told my DJ, before you continue, I'm gonna stand right here and talk to them since they want to talk amongst themselves. And I just start reciting the lyrics to my song. And after I performed, I said, where did that come from?
Oh my God.
This wasn't planned or nothing, but the testimony and just the lyrics in itself, God really shows up.
Yeah.
And when he encourages you, he strengthens you and empowers you to, when he wants you and calls you to do something,
He's gonna show up.
oh, it's gonna show up.
And that's the beauty of it, because
Oh man,
it allows it to be a live presentation of what God can do.
absolutely.
Evidence.
Absolutely.
Yes, like what
and
God
then it's not
can
just
do.
for you, it's for everybody else in your sphere of influence as well.
And especially those in the room who didn't know they needed.
Right.
Like, ooh, okay, God's speaking to me.
There we go.
So yeah.
I would love to hear from you. Would you like me to re-ask the question?
You can ask the question.
Okay, so I asked, what have you experienced that encourages you to serve both women and families? Is it out of obedience or desire?
For me, I wouldn't say before of obedience, because it took a lot for me to fully understand where my walk was and who I was first. And when it comes down to the women's ministry in itself, God had to really reflect where I didn't fully understand, where a lot of women or people would like, I'm like magnets there, because just come and start talking to tell me the business and stuff, and not understanding what they went through. And I could see here as of this year, I spoke about something that happened to me when I was a child.
Okay.
And I can openly speak about it now because God gave me the revelation this year to speak on it, where I was molested when I was 7. I was molested when I was raped at 12, molested at 15, 16. And it was by family members that supposedly be there to be protective over you. And in this season, throughout this time frame, I never told nobody until this year. I'm 38 years old.
This year just started, by the way.
Last year.
I mean, I'm sorry, last year.
I was about to say, that's swift.
Yeah,
Last year, July 19th was when I actually God spoke to me, because I had a brunch called Your Truth Brunch, which God birthed to me in 2018, and I didn't understand what it was that He was doing, what it was He was doing. And at this time frame, He told me, stop protecting people that don't need covering.
Hold on. Repeat that and expound on that.
He said, stop protecting people that doesn't need covering.
Expound on that.
Meaning, throughout the time frame, I never spoke on the people that hurt me. So I was protecting them. Now in this season, God was like, and this time it's not your choice to cover them.
Right.
You're protecting them and you're shielding them. But now you've been holding on to so much in pain and dealing with all this by yourself. Now I'm giving you the voice to talk about it, because you're no longer captive anymore.
Amen.
I felt like I was being held in a space where I did things wrong. I wasn't talking about these things. So as the years go by and women started telling me, or like God have me speaking, I'm like, I don't know why you come and tell me your business. I don't know you like that. But I didn't understand God was preparing me for my ministry. I didn't understand that God was putting me in a position to know what my value was, who I am in Him, and to know my worth. So within that time frame, the obedience part, it wasn't easy. Where I remember the last thing, I went to a service and there was this minister, he was preaching, and then after the service was over, almost over, and he pointed, he said, I had something about, he was like, the young lady with the thing on her head. So it was a girl in front of me, so she backed away. And he said to me, he said, not once, not twice, not 3 times, God's been calling you and you have not yet take that step that he told you to do. I felt so hurt and condemned at that moment. I was like, ooh, like me? I called my sister after this. I was like, I don't know. Like at that moment, I felt like God's like, it was yelling at me like, I've been calling you. You here. You want me to beg you? And I told God, I'm so sorry because I don't want you to beg me. I don't want to be, I didn't see myself in a position where I'm at right now to say I was worthy enough, I was qualified, or just enough to say, hey, I represent God, because I know where I've been and what I went through. So my image of how I saw myself wasn't what I thought he saw me, but I had to get out of that. So that obedience part had to come in alignment. And family, I've been always family orientated, but women ministry always been something where I've always been connected to, where I have a sensitive heart for kids. I have a sensitive heart for women battling, because I also myself came from a relationship where there was domestic violence involved. So in this thing is just more so of unity, of keeping everybody together. So in my season and everything, how God transitioned me, it took a lot. Like I felt like God was putting teeth for me, because I was in fear. I doubted myself. I didn't know who I was. I didn't see myself. I didn't have an identity. So in that moment, all I saw was that young little girl who didn't have a voice to speak, because all this transition, all this happened. And as I'm getting older in my teenager years, and I'm like, God, you still allow this to happen. Like, okay, I guess this how you want my life to be. Not knowing that what I went through was part of my testimony, my trials and tribulations to get to where I'm at right now, where I was able to birth out Your Truth. And Your Truth is more so, God gave me this again in 2018. And in 2020, he gave me a book to write, which I completed my book. It's called The Side That They Can't See.
It's coming out this year.
It's coming out this year. It's coming out this year by the grace of God. So when I looked at both of them, I'm like, God, you gave me Your Truth and you gave me the side that they can't see. But when you put it together, the side that they can't see is Your Truth, unless you reveal it to them. So that's why it says, don't judge a book by its cover, because you never know what it went through. You could see a book with a cover and it has nothing in it, but you will never know until you open the book. So for me, it took a lot. Obedience part, it gradually grew on me as to understand when it came down to being obedience is better than sacrifice. And I was told that back in 2022. And that's when I fully understood and said, you know what, Lord, as he started bringing different people in my life and showing me different things of how to be obedient, because I didn't know how to be obedient. I was in a place of fear to say, Lord, I don't want to be a disappointment to you if I'm not doing what you want me to do. So it was, I was doing things just because I didn't want to disappoint God. But not fully understanding obedience is willingly doing it without expecting nothing. You're just open to it versus like being afraid. So for me, the obedience part of it, it just gradually came. It wasn't something that I came to say I'm doing it based on this how God wanted me to do it in the beginning, because I didn't know. I had to learn.
So you mentioned something very vital when you said covering people. What did that take for you to speak in your truth and also share the silent side of you that they don't see, without covering people, but being obedient and willing to God?
Wow. Without covering people.
Yeah. Because I'm pretty sure you wanted to protect them. I mean, it's self-explanatory when you say cover, right? But what did that look like for you? Like, God, I want you more than I want them. Actually, are you ladies familiar with Galatians chapter 1, verse 10? No?
Not from the top of my head.
Okay. I still want you to think about that though, right? But in the meantime, I'm going to give you this scripture. So it says, this is from the NIV. Am I now trying to win the approval of human beings or of God? Or am I trying to please people? If I was still trying to please people, I would not be a servant of Christ. Covering.
Covering.
Yeah.
Whew. I feel like with that of covering people, of him telling me to stop trying to protect them and covering them was more so of like, I felt like this is what God wanted me to do in a sense of like being silent in that season of protecting, because it's a time like Ecclesiastes chapter 3. There's a time for everything.
Yep.
So in that season, it wasn't time for me to speak. It was time for me because in that time frame, if I had spoken, and I'm thinking prematurely at that time, things could have taken place where maybe they could have got harmed. Something could happen, and I would have been responsible. Now I probably wouldn't be able to live with myself to understand. But yet, as I gradually grew into knowing, like, God, you had me protect them and cover them all these years, in this season, which I didn't know what I was doing, and at that time, it was more so, you see all, you are all. So for me, I just felt like that was just time for me to just be quiet and be in silence and not fully being the one. I wasn't being silenced. God was silencing me in that time frame for me not to be able to speak on it, but protect them as well, because we don't know what could have taken place in that season when things was happening.
Timing for everything. How you holding up, everyone? My name is Woodeline, and we're here on the How You Holding Up podcast with Mr. Brooklyn Boone. Listen here, if you guys have not tuned in yet, you need to tune in immediately. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. You don't want to miss this episode. I can guarantee you there is something there for you to receive and take with you. So we hope to see you guys on the next podcast. It's definitely more to come. So may y'all have a blessed one and tune in. Like, share, subscribe. Don't act like you missed that part. All right now.
When Woodeline mentioned that, hey, my spiritual mother would like to come on as well, I said, okay. I said, God, what would be the intentions of her joining this conversation? What is the purpose of her asking, hey, can I join the conversation as well? And I think it was for that. I'm pretty sure it's a lot more.
And what we said.
Oh yeah,
I
already
literally
knew.
told her, I said, God already gave us a word on what He's going to do. So this is the time where your truth is gonna come out.
I already knew, and before you spoke to me, before you contacted me about it, so I take prayer walks almost every morning, and they be long sometimes. I ain't gonna lie. Like the last one I did was 8.92 miles. Right, just go. And I'm just, because it's a lot, right? How you holding up is a lot, right, to unpack. And both of you ladies have said something. We're going to dive in further to your story as well with your upbringing. But from what you were saying, it didn't happen. It happened to you for others, right? So a lot of things that took place in my life, the whole creation of, what I speak about, my music, my testimonies, and they constantly occur and are made known to me day by day, but they happen in a way, and it's like, God, do I speak now? And as I'm on this walk so loudly and vividly, and some people don't understand when they hear from God, right? Because sometimes it can be frightening.
That's
God, you
true.
want me to say what? You want me to go where? You want me to do
That's
what? I ain't ready for none of that. Like what you said.
Yeah. Me too the first time.
So it can be frightening too, right?
It is.
But I want to say this was about 3 or 4 days before. So I'm like, God, what is? And then I said, I know it's going to be some type of confirmation that I need. Sure. Come on through. Right. You were going to say something. What were you going to say? What were your thoughts? It was a reaction that you had a few moments ago.
Which part it was? I think it was when you mentioned, like when He speaks to us. Yeah. Like in that moment, like it really be a, huh?
You said what?
Who? Me?
When now?
You tripping.
Yeah, right.
That's
right.
Like I really be like, I don't know what he's talking about, but at some point eventually, one thing about it, when God call you, you can't run. You can't run. Even if you don't feel qualified. Because I definitely had seasons of feeling like I'm not qualified for this. Even with my Bible study group, I remember sitting with God while preparing. I said, me? How you call me to do something that I'm still in the process of learning and building myself in? And it was, as time go on, He started showing me like, this is why. I called for you to do it because of the impact that it would have. And when I look back at it in anything that he asked me to do and the outcome and the impact of it is a point where it's not always just for you. It's those who really need it. Because a lot of time people do things and like expectations. Oh, it's for me. It's for me. It's for me. When you're just like even in the book of Matthew, God didn't come to be served. He came to serve. So even us as disciples, we're not called to be served. We're called to serve. So even in the form of obedience, it comes in a place of knowing when to serve. Yeah. When it's okay to say, I'm not in this season to be of service. I mean, to be served. I'm in the season to be of service. So when he does speak, it do come from a place of like, I don't know. Like, you think I'm built for that? I'm still dealing with some things and you want me to do what? But everything, I always look at it as a process. Like I always tell my spiritual mother, I'm in my training season.
And it's not always terrifying when
it's
God
not.
speaks to you.
No, it's not.
It's just
It's not.
sometimes we think it's irate or irrational.
Like,
it's like,
hold up now. That's a speed bump.
Right.
You know?
So, and it's only when we feel that we're unequipped or unprepared for it.
That we feel that way.
It's don't be terrified of it because do not be afraid, do not fret. Right. It's the most repeated phrase, if you will, in the Bible. So don't be afraid. Just continue seeking him and he'll make it clear and vivid to you.
Exactly.
So please do continue.
And it's always a process. And I always call every season my training season. Because like I said, when you're comfortable with something, shifting is uncomfortable. Right. Just like when you get a job, you got to go through a training to know how to do the job. So when you don't know what you're doing, it can be like, you want me to do this? Like, but the thing is, just like when he called Andrew and what's his name? The fishers. Simon. Yeah. To come when they were fishers and he called them. And even with their occupation as fishermen, he shifted in a spiritual way of, you were once a fisherman, now we're fishing for disciples, right? So he has a way of taking what you know in your flesh comfortably and flipping that to making you use it boldly spiritually. Like, for example, when you spoke earlier about being bold, I'm naturally bold, right? I'm naturally, in my past, a fighter. Right.
I saw your fist balled up just
right.
Stay ready. You don't
ready. You know. But those are the things in us that he needs spiritually to come out of us. The boldness, the fighting side. Fight for me. Show them what it looks like to stand with me, to walk with me. Show them what it looks like when you allow yourself to transition. The past is gonna always be the past. That's just residue. But it's also what molds you is your testimony. It's a story that you go through to help somebody else. Because everyone always says, why I got to go through this? It's not always about you. Right. It's not. And that's the part we have to come to understand is, you know what? It's not always about me. Yes, I went through it. But it's a reason why my story shifted the way it did. Because he knew that in some season when he called me, I would move. Because it's thousands, maybe even millions who needs to hear that story to know, if she could survive, I could survive. If she made it out this storm, so can I. If she could overcome suicide and she went through this, I can do it too. So it's like a lot of the times when he called us to move is honestly not something to be afraid of. And as we mentioned before, a lot of it comes from a place of feeling not qualified, not worthy enough. Because it's so much easier when we in the world than we have to let those things die. It's a feeling that comes with it where it's like, how do I explain this? Like, where is this coming from? But the outcome is much more worthy. And even if you don't feel qualified, you are already qualified. He made the unqualified qualified. For sure. So who am I to say I'm not qualified? He already called. All I had to do was answer. So, yeah.
When did you know it was time for you to, as Ms. Woodeline said, share your testimony? Because you said for a number of seasons, God silenced you. But when and how did it look for you when he said, okay, now is the time?
So it was actually in July.
July 19th, right?
July 19th. It was actually a week prior to that where I wasn't gonna do, well, a month prior to that, I was gonna cancel the brunch. Because I'm like, Lord, I don't know what is it that you trying to do. Like, it's Your Truth brunch. But the Lord said to me, I gave you this brand a month prior. So he says, before you do anything, I need you to speak on your truth so people could know the backstory of why I gave you your truth. A month prior, I was just sitting down and the Lord just gave me a revelation of me dancing. And the dress that I had on, because I do praise dancing as well. I've been dancing since I was 9 years old. And in that season, I had a vision of me dancing. And I had on this dress that I only wore once. And I was dancing to this song called Better by Jessica Reedy, if anybody know. And the only time I danced to this song was at my brother's funeral in 2020. So that was one of my biggest moments of my truth of understanding in ministry, that I was able to do that dance at my brother's funeral without anything. Like, my brother's funeral, I was the one that was mainly making sure everything's set. My oldest to the youngest, everybody's coming to me. So in that time frame, I say, Lord, I'm a crybaby. I'm a big crybaby.
I know I am.
And it took a lot for me to stand the way I stood in my brother's funeral. So when he gave me that revelation to know that you can do this brunch because I gave you something stronger to hold on in your brother's funeral at the time. So I want you to take that same spirit and that same motivation to do this brunch. But before you do it, I need you to speak on why you're doing this brunch. And in that time frame, it just became, okay, when he spoke July, a week before, he told me to call my oldest two sisters first. And one was in Texas, one was in New York at the time. And I gave them the story, and I was telling them because in the Haitian background, and I tell people, if you grew up in Haitian background culture, sometimes the culture can be very messed up. Where we're stuck on tradition and generational things where things just, it's supposed to go this way because grandma did it. Now you're supposed to do it this way, you're supposed to do it. And one thing I can say is I had to let them know in that time frame it wasn't their fault because I had two older sisters. The oldest, she moved out at 15. She got pregnant. She got married. But that was in the old days when it was something where it was traditional. No matter what age you could get pregnant, have a baby. My second oldest sister, she got at 16. She left the house. She was pregnant. So I'm the third daughter. I had my son at 18. So for me, when I left the house, it was more so I saw my oldest two sisters do it. So that's what I felt that I had to be done too. But I explained to them and said everything that I went through, it wasn't y'all fault because y'all wasn't there to protect me. Because they kept saying, why didn't you say it sooner? Why you didn't? And I'm like, it wasn't time yet. I didn't have that voice. I didn't have what I have now that God gave me this confidence in myself, this boldness to speak on it because I'm no longer that little girl who was fearful of these older people who was doing things to me. So now in that time from when God spoke and told me to say, within that time frame of July, it was just, I felt free when he said to me, stop protecting people that needs covering. Now is your season. Because if you're going to stand by something of your truth, you have to stand on your truth and tell your story to be able to know like what it is that I'm trying to do for you, for my kingdom within you, because you have a story to tell. You have things in you that I want people to understand and know. It's not just what they see on the outside, but to get to know who you are based on what your story is. Because I was, again, in a Haitian culture, we just know to go to school. It's L'église, l'école, lakai. It's the 3 L's. Those what we do. That's what we were trained upon. And I believe, and another thing where it came down to, in itself, of speaking on it, was to inform a lot of parents. And for me, and I'm because when you're becoming a woman, they have this thing where they want to call everyone and say she's a woman now. But you don't know who's praying. You don't know who's waiting to hear that. Yeah. You don't know. And even if it came down to with me, with the thing that with me, because the person found out that I was having sex. I was sexually active. But before then, it was nothing. We were, family. The moment that came about, you got parents calling this person, that person, they use that to their advantage. So that's something where I would like to tell a lot of people out there, especially, what kind of culture, when it comes down to your kids, it's certain things that you keep private. You don't let everybody know because that can be something that you don't know who's praying against them could use on their advantage to do something. And that's what happened to me. So for me in July, that was when I felt that and God spoke and says time, I was able now not only to tell my siblings, my older 2 sisters, but I was able to give them names. And I told them that the Lord spoke to me and said, you guys are the only 2 that would know the name. So if anything comes out, I'm coming back to you guys. I don't want nobody to retaliate. I don't want anybody to go do anything because God gave me the strength. I forgave them. And it's one of those things where I was no longer, again, hiding behind that little girl, that mask of just being afraid of what might happen because I know who I am in Christ now. God gave me this stillness to know, don't move without him telling me to move. Don't speak without him telling me to speak. So, and sometimes, again, we might move prematurely before it's time. But when I know at that moment, when God gave me that revelation, it's like, okay, now I'm unlocking something in you that you've been holding on for so long. It might hurt others, but this is a season where your testimony is going to be able to help other people, which it has. Some people to this day that's 4 years old haven't told their parents that something happened to them when they were younger because they're afraid of the backlash, the retaliation of certain things. They didn't want to get, you have some people where they did tell the parents and the parents didn't believe them.
Right.
They got kicked out. Some were boyfriends, some were, so it became something where I believe God gave me that time from that season to know you're ready now, because back then you wasn't ready. My mental wasn't ready. And to even speak about it further, he actually allowed me to be in a position to help in one of the persons, they passed away. And I was the one who helped arrange everything with the funeral. And I told God in that moment when I found out they passed away, I said, I didn't have no feelings. I didn't have no I didn't feel like I was hurt. It was nothing. And I'm like, Lord, are you testing me to see, am I still going to have the same heart to do what you asked me to do for this person, even though I know what they did to me? And I felt God was testing me, but I was able to do it. I didn't shed a tear until that Friday night of the viewing. And this is the crazy thing, because my sister was supposed to come. My mom was supposed to come. My dad was supposed to come. My brother was, my cousin was supposed to come to the viewing. Nobody showed up. I was there by myself on my side of the family. So I felt God wanted me to be isolated, say, I need you to deal with this now. And through it all, I was able to provide the service, still be that same person, that person that God created me with the heart that I have, to be able to help this person even in the last days. The only regret that I have was I never got to tell him I forgave him. But I know God used that time frame to show me, to see I was able to stand throughout the trauma and everything that I went through, to be able to go ahead and do this without any pain, without feeling any, remorse, without feeling anything toward, because I forgave. I was able to fully release it. So in that season, it was just more so when God did it for me and said, this is the time now to release it. I felt like God knows, like I said, I opened the door for you based on let's get out the doubt and fear out, because that was holding me back a lot. Right. Fear was one of the things where, we say every day, God didn't give you the power, the spirit of fear, he gave you power, love, and a sound mind. Happens. But at some point, it gets to a point where you just like, I want to take the step, but I'm going to just wait a little bit. But he has to bring other people to get you out of that. And that's what happened. That's what happened to me. He's been connecting with different people that's been, hey, you doing this? Okay, we're going to go. And I'm like, how you know? But it just brought out that thing to be able to speak on what I've experienced. So I just thank him for putting me in that position at the right time for me to speak at it at the right moment, and me having the right mindset. So I believe that July was that time frame when he just said it's a go now. There's no more holding it back.
Okay.
Amen.
Oh, there you go. This episode is brought to you by Attractive Mindset Studios. Start the year off with an attractive mindset. Share with us what it's like to be a prophetess.
It's scary.
I bet it is. I know. Trust me, I know.
That in itself, I didn't know I had a gift. I learned my gift back in June 20th of year 2022. I got my gift of tongues and prophesying, but I didn't know it was something that was born. I was basically, this was a gift that I was born with from my mom's womb. And God revealed that to me back in 2013. And I went to a service, and this that time I didn't want to do the 1 foot, 1 foot out thing. So my older sister, she's the type of person, when you go to church, she doesn't care if it's 10 minutes of the service. She's gonna go late. I'd rather go next Sunday. So we end up going to the service, and this lady, she's a prophetess as well, and the service had like over 300 people. We came in late, and I'm in the overflow, and she's calling out everybody. She's like, there's a young lady in here that has a black thing in her head. Bring her to me. So they're calling everybody to come in. I'm in the back. So when I finally come in the aisle, she's like, yes. So when she said, bring it to me, I came to the sanctuary in the middle, and she's like, from your mother's womb, God chose you. God's about to do some things with you. Don't be afraid of what he's about to do. That was 2013. I said, okay, left it on. As the years started going by, I started realizing certain things happened, but I was just called it weird. Like, I would sit here and I have a conversation. I can have a conversation with you, and I just start telling you something about your life. And you're like, how you know this? And I'm like, I don't know. In 2022, when it actually revealed, knowing the gift that I carry and fully understanding it, being a prophetess, it's something where you always have to be in a place of prayer. Because your discernment has to be sharpened. Where at times God can reveal some things to you about someone's life, even though the Holy Spirit is here to give information. But you have to have the discernment to know if that person's heart is ready to receive whatever it is that's being revealed. So at times, I'm not gonna lie, I told Lord last year, I said, Lord, I'm not doing this no more. I don't want to do it. I don't want to interact with people. I didn't go to the grocery store. I stayed at home for a whole week. I didn't even go to work. And it was because too much stuff was happening. When people don't understand, when you in a season of God revealing certain things to you, not just that of seeing the things of revelation of what God's bringing to flourish, to speak on people's lives, you have some people that will take it as being demonic. So you have to be in a place to know, like, okay, I don't, in the season, I'm saying this, but Lord, it was doubtful in the beginning to know, am I really hearing your voice? Is it really you?
Right.
Until the confirmation starts to come. People start telling you, hey, what you minister to me is coming to light. In the beginning, it was something for me that growing up, I was bullied. That's something in my book, Innocent to Understand the Side that they can see. So as God revealed to me my gift, now I'm looking at something to say, wow, it's something that I didn't know I had, but people are coming giving me confirmation and saying, you say this. So in the beginning, it was a little bit of pride there because now I'm being seen.
Right.
Now I'm like, oh, I got this. I could, talk to these people, say, but it had to come with obedience to understand, because the structure of God is not a God of messiness. He's a God of clarity and God of structure. So I had to understand and humble myself to know this is not me. This is God speaking through me to be able to help his people. So, of course, that season, it has its ups and downs where you don't understand what God is doing, but you have to be obedient. When he calls, you have to answer. So for me, the prophetess side of it, and in the beginning was more so like title and things like that, or people saying I have a high. No, it's just basically how God's using you. Sometimes it's not even the title, because some people can walk around with the title and don't even have the flourishing, the backgrounds of the story to uphold the title, and the title becomes idolized. So being a prophetess is just a thing where I tell people at the end of the day, it's not me. I'm just a vessel doing God's work. But I had to be in a position in a season to embrace it, because it can be scary. It can be in seasons where you have to, it's not all people you pray for or touch, because spirits do travel. You have to learn these things. You have to understand what is it that God wants you to do in that season, or whoever it is that you're around, because it becomes something mentally, it drains. It can drain you. But being obedient to what God is doing in my life as a prophetess, I stand on God's word, on his foundation. I don't stand on nobody else's. I don't utilize my gift for my own good, because you have some that does this well. So, and that's where false doctrine comes in. And when they say, God, Holy Spirit says this, and he didn't even say that. So you have to be mindful and be respectful of, because one thing I tell people also, I don't play when it comes to God. In my season, my walk, I remember when I fully surrendered to God, I don't care if I hit my toe. I say, Lord, whatever shoe that you didn't want me to put on, that's going to bother me. In fact, I'm going to stay home, because you don't put no shoes on my feet. My car flat tire, maybe you didn't want me to get into an accident. That's how I was in the beginning. People thought I was crazy because I fully surrendered, and it was like, why you be acting funny? And I'm like, I'm not acting funny. It's just like, whatever's happening, I'm like, if it's in your will, Lord, I'm just going to take it for what it is. But in the walk of opening that door of God, releasing and showing my gifts, because I fully surrendered to him and wanted to know more, wanted to get to know who I am within him. So he gave me something that birthed something out of me to know you're more than what you think you are. Who you thought you were based on the process. I used to be in the clubs. I used to smoke hookah like a chimney, like bad. And when it came down to that season of just showing, like letting God be present and allowing him to move me, then that door opened up to see, okay, you have a greater calling. You have a bigger gift that God's given to you. So in this season, be able to utilize it for his will. So it can be scary, but it's one of those things where it comes with a lot of warfare. It comes with a lot of warfare, where if you're not consecrated into Christ and you're not still having a consistent prayer life, things can shift and you start to question and doubt a lot of things. And one of the things where being a prophetess is you have some people, and when I say people, different ministries that has the same calling, and they see the calling of your life, and they'll tell you, hey, I see you have a gift. You know, you're welcome to come to my church.
Yeah.
You know, you're welcome to do this. I'm like, it's okay. Because now you're not seeing you're seeing what I can benefit to your church. And people have to realize when it comes down to ministry, we're not building cults. We're not building things based on to say, hey, I have a lot of prophets and prophetess in my church, and you can come here. Someone's going to give you a word. Someone's going to let you. You're going to get healing from. And a lot of people get tricked into those type of things. And I wouldn't jeopardize my gift or put my gift on the line or for anything, for anyone to say, because I know there's a higher, my Father's watching. There's a higher power than me who's given me this gift. So why would I do that to manipulate the people? So in that season of being a prophetess, it comes with a lot of weight. It comes with a lot where in the middle of the night, you have some people that's going to call and say, hey, God give you a revelation about this person. You have to just call and say, hey, this is what I see for you. And then like, what? But I always tell people, no matter the word that's spoken, I don't care who give you a word, prophetic word, take it back to God. Always take it back to God. Lord, if it's in your will, this is what it is of your stature, take it back to him. Don't take it and run with it. And you doing things because you're not in that season to have that strong discernment to know who's really speaking, who you getting the word from. But if it's of God, it's going to come to flourishing if he wants it to happen. But it is very scary. I can say when the door opened up, the first time I heard God told me I had to pray for someone, I was at a dentist's office. I didn't know this lady. And I heard him clearly, you have to pray. I said, what? Right now? I said, I'm not doing that. And he brought this feeling on me, like it was like I tippy-toed to the lady, like literally. And I said, ma'am, do you believe in God? She said, yes. I said, do you pray? She said, yes. And at that moment, the Holy Spirit just started revealing certain things to her. And she's just like receiving. I'm crying. I'm praying in tongues and I'm prophesying to her. And I ran outside and I called my friend Nadia because 3 days prior, she asked me, she said, Cherlyne, did you get the gift of tongues again? I said, girl, I don't want that. Don't even call me with that. Get off my phone. 3 days later, Holy Spirit, I got my gift of tongues. I said, Nadia, I don't know what God's doing, but I don't want it. She started laughing. She said, welcome. In that moment, it was just something I didn't fathom. I didn't understand what was going on because, again, I came from a place of thinking, I ain't qualified. I know my background. I know who I was. And to be able to speak and do the things of God is just one of those things, like at the end of the day, that walk, when you say yes into it, once you say yes, there's no turning back. And I tell people, when you're walking and you're getting closer to God, not just when you have a gift in itself, just saying yes to God, period, you're trying to do the right thing, the trials and tribulations gonna come much heavier.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't stop. People think when you get into that season, oh, God, you're supposed to take everything. It's like supposed to get easier. No, it doesn't. It gets heavier. See, the Bible says, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. It never said it wasn't gonna form.
Right.
So we get to that place of thinking, God got me, ain't gonna have. No, when that season comes, you have to know how to handle it. You have to know how to stand, what scripture to come out. And what people don't realize is when you stand on the word of God, when things are happening, transforming, you have to give the word of God back. Lord, you said this, and you speaking this. You just can't stand against something and just say, well, I'm just gonna wait for God to do it. That's like saying you asking God for a job and you never apply for it. You have to put in the work. Faith without work is dead. So now in the season of me of allowing God to move, I don't move without God telling me where to go. I don't speak unless he tells me to speak. And I'm not the person that's going to tell you, oh, I heard this and I never heard it. Now you come and tell me, oh, you said this is going to happen. And now next you know, oh, fake prophetess says it. No. In the season of it, when it comes down to it, it's something opening the doors. Again, I didn't come from a background of speaking in tongues and praying in tongues. So even when it came to my own household, I used to pray in tongues in the closet, like quiet. You didn't even know I was praying. But God had to shift me to be in a place to know, like, if you're doing my will and you're praying, I need you to be opening up to, people around you. Because now, again, one of the things where I was afraid of losing people.
Yeah, I get you.
Ooh, that's the scary part. When God give you a word for someone that's close to you, a friend, a family member, and it's a hard word that you can't give them, it's like, ooh, what do you do? And I was convicted of that because someone spoke to me and said, Prophetess Cherlyne, God gave you a word for some friends of yours and you didn't give it to them. I said, you're right. I didn't. She said, why not? I said, because I don't want to lose their friendship. And she said, obedience is better than sacrifice. She said, you rather to be disobedient to God and not give your friends the revelation, the word that he gave them. Now he could take that gift from you. Now you'll be sitting here and watching them go down. And he gave you a warning because warning comes before destruction.
Yeah, how they blood on your hands. Yeah.
And I said, I didn't want to be in that position.
Yep.
And not just that, where she says, instead of giving them the word, you was too busy trying to fix it. And there's like, your hands is everywhere. So if you're in a position of playing God, how you expect them to get to God? Because sometimes God put them in a position for them to come to him. But I didn't want to lose the friendship. I didn't want to be in a place like, if I could help, I'm going to do it, but I'm draining myself. And I'm putting myself in a position as I'm God. I'm not God. I had to hear that word to move out of the way. Guess what? The next time, I want to give them that word. And the first thing I told them, I said, I need a meeting with y'all. I said, y'all know what it is. Y'all see what's happening. God's been transitioned because I done been told in the beginning, oh, now when it come down to walking with God, you holier than thou, you all this, all that stuff that comes in place when it comes down to the walk. But I stood 10 toes down. I never stopped. I never bended. I never compromised. I stayed where I know God wanted me to stay in. So in that time frame of doing that, so I was able to not only give him the word, and I told him in the beginning, I said, listen, with the word I'm going to give y'all, if you want to take it and do something with it, go ahead and do it. If you don't want to be my friend no more, it's fine. And they're like, why would we want to be a friend? I said, I just don't understand. Because the word that God gave me was more deeper than the beginning. So I gave them each of the word. They still here. So I was in a place of being fearful of giving them the word, and not because I didn't want to lose their friendship based on what I know or how it is. But God says, no, in this season, I need you to help your friends into the season of what I want them to get out of, into what to get into. But if they're confined to just one thing, how are you now? You playing both sides.
Right.
You playing both sides. I don't want to play both sides no more. In this season, I'm able to pray and say, Lord, remove and expose those people out of my life. I never was in that position before because I was afraid of being alone. I was afraid not the people that was around doing certain things, but as a prophetess and God give you this, it's like isolation. There are certain things you're no longer going to be into no more. There's certain places you can't go no more. There's certain music you can't. So it's like, okay, Lord, I surrender everything. I repent for not giving you my all when I did. Now it's like, because now the people I see that's happening, certain places I used to say, I'm not getting invited no more. Why not? But I had to understand this is a season where God was transitioning me and utilizing me in a way that I didn't know how the gift that I actually carried. But being a prophet is not an easy walk. It's not an easy walk.
Great day and God bless. Thank you for tuning in to How You Holding Up the podcast. Listen, Your Truth is the sponsor for this specific episode. Head on over to Shopify, type in Your Truth, and get yours now. And don't forget, ask them how they holding up and let them know Brooklyn Boom sent you. I want to hear from you. Your upbringing as a child. Tell us about that.
My upbringing, first I'm going to start off and say what it looked like compared to what it was were two different things. And I say that because even in seasons of going through storms, I could still walk outside and say, hey, how you doing? You okay? Yeah, I'm okay. And in reality, I'm not okay. For me, the shift really took place when my mother died.
At 13, right?
At 13. When she died, for a minute, I felt like it was a dream. I was just stuck in place like, huh? And because my mother traveled a lot because she had business in Haiti, for a short period of time, it felt like, okay, she's coming back. She's just traveling. She's coming back. But then when reality sinked in is when I used to be in her room in the dark alone. And of course, when I'm around people, hey, da da da. But in that moment, it's like everything just will weigh down on me. And that was actually one of the seasons where I was mad at God. I was so mad at God.
At 13.
And mind you, I grew up going to church, in church. Even when I was going, my mother, if I came to her like in my younger age, like 8, 7, 9, and I say, hey, I want to go to church with a friend. They're going to church. Can I go? She'll ask what kind of church it is and say, yeah, you can go. So I always had like this eagerness to be in the presence of God. I didn't understand what it was then. I was young, so I had no understanding, but I knew I had this desire. Like, I just want to be in his presence. But when she died, that eagerness died. That desire died. And as crazy as it is to say, because my relationship with my dad wasn't always the best either, is now in the last 2-3 years, it has picked up. I honestly said in that season, I was like, why my mama not my dad? That's how angry I was. And that's how hurt I was. And I went through a season where I felt like I was just going through life without him. And when my siblings, my oldest was 23 at the time my mama died. And she had a 4-year-old. And one of my mother requests to her was, don't give the kids to their dad. So I know for her that was tough. Because when I was at 23, I was still trying to figure out life. Life was figuring me out. I was really, figuring it out. So she also had myself, my little brother, and another sibling of mine, plus her 4-year-old. And I recently shared this with my sister when I said, you know what I realized when we was younger, when mommy died, that we never spoke to each other about how we feel. Like, it was never, how you feel? Like, this is what life is going to be, so we're just going to adjust. We literally just maneuvered. We got up every day and went on. Like, it was like a whole new chapter took place, and we had no understanding on how to even write the story. We were just getting up and going. And for 4 years, my sister, she did the best she could. She did the best she could, and I will always respect that, because I know what she did at 23, I wasn't have been able to do. I would have said, I don't know, we're just going to have to figure it out. But God have his way of doing things and the way he positioned things, because he knew who would be able. And that's something I wouldn't have been able to do, because mentally, it's like I was here, but I wasn't here. And even in school, like, people know me as the sweetest, but I also was a fighter. So I felt like that side of me also increased, in a sense of, because I'm not an argumentative type. Once I said what I got to say, I don't have anything else to say. So a way of expressing that pain was physical. So it's like, okay, God, I don't want to argue with you. I'm bearing all this. What you want to do? So life really shifted to where I had to really figure out what was really going on. Like, what's really taking place right now. And honestly, I had no idea. I was just waking up, taking it day by day, trying to figure it out. Neither one of us know how each other feel. We never expressed it. We never talked about it. We just see each other and assume each other's okay because we had each other. And honestly, we always only had each other. So even us working early, my brother started working at 13. I was working 2 jobs my freshman year. Like, all we knew to do, and I feel like when I think about it, that was our way of processing and dealing with the changes. We knew how to just work. Just work. Like, sister working 2 jobs, I'm working 2 jobs. Brother 13, already working at a car wash. So we all just like on survival mode. Like, we got to figure it out, because mommy in here, we can't run to mommy. My oldest, her father passed I believe in 2020 or 2021. My second oldest didn't get to meet her father. So it's just me and my brother, who dad is here. But even though he's here, we only had each other as siblings. So a lot of it was figuring out. So for me, my mindset was always, I'm going to do what I got to do. because you don't know what I'm going through. So whatever that takes for me to do what I got to do, that's what I'm going to do, because at the end of the day, I have to survive. And with that taking place, you know, working, I even ended up working in the strip club industry, you know, and even with that mindset going into it, it was, I don't care what people think. You don't know what I'm going through. I gotta fend for myself. So I'm gonna do what I have to do. So it's like a lot of things that took place. Sometimes when I think about it, I used to say, dang, I know if mommy was here with my mindset, things would have take off a certain way. But then when I think about it, it's like, okay, maybe it had to happen, because if that didn't happen, I would not be where I am today. I wouldn't have processed things the way that I processed it. I wouldn't have handled certain things the way that I handled it. So it wasn't always the best upbringing. I had seasons where I was homeless. Nobody knew. I had seasons where I was in hotels paying for them every day. I would say I don't know how, but I do know God made a way, you know. But even in those seasons when you see me, the one thing I can say is I never looked like what I was going through, but life was doing its numbers, you know. And I recently expressed this in my Bible study class, and I said to them, I was like, the beauty of how God works when he don't allow us to look like what we go through. Imagine someone taking a blade and just slicing you everywhere. And you can visually see those bruises. You can see the white meat. Those are the scars that people don't see. So to know that you've been through that and you carry those scars and you don't look like what you've been through, you can't help but to say, Lord, thank you. Because even when I was going through those seasons, I had moments where I was like, okay, God, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't want to do this no more. Like, I'm calling on you. You're not answering. You're not responding quick enough. Bill do. My back is against the wall. Like, you know, like, where are you? Yeah. And it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. I made it look easy. To a lot of people, they thought it was easy. But it wasn't easy. But I will honestly say what kept me going is, even though in that season I was mad at God, I questioned him. I remember even writing, because I used to write poems, and I even wrote like expressing the hate that I had in that season. I was angry. I felt like he let me down. I was like, I'm just not going to a season where I need my mama the most. I'm going into my womanhood, you know, like I need her, you know. And yes, I had my siblings, but as I said, we never expressed or talk about what that loss did to us. All we knew how to do was work. Like, we deal with our problems so differently. Like, one of them will probably shut down, won't talk much. The other one work a lot. Me, I'm a, how do you call it when you hype? You could be depressed, but you like, it's a word for it. Like, I could be going through, but I'm just hyperactive. Like, I keep myself busy. I know what you mean. So it's like we all maneuver the way that we thought we had to. So a lot of that pain was just suppressed pain. Just sitting there and just trying to figure out how to get through it. But once I got to a place in my brokenness, because a lot of us forget that God will meet you in your brokenness. And my season of brokenness is when I would say, even if I was hurt or angry, God still met me there. And when he met me there, I was able to get to a place to just be able to just say, I may not understand what's going on right now, but I trust you. And I was able to get through those seasons. And I feel like my season of really leaning and saying, Lord, I trust you, was when 2019, when it was an episode that took place where a family member of mine was dealing with some things where they needed deliverance. And God pulled me to the forefront. I had no idea what I was doing. Right. I said, God, you calling me to do what? I don't know how to do deliverance. I don't know what I'm doing. But what I didn't know was that he, like I said, the process. He was already putting me in a position to be prepared, because I started going to a church called the Worldwide Kingdom Ministry. And when I say they stood with me through that season. And I remember Prophet saying to me at the time, God is about to use you like he's never used you before. So stay in prayer. Honestly, I thought it was going to be in service, because the fact that I was a member in the church, I was actively in the church. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm about to be serving. I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to be doing that. Not knowing it was going to be a season of doing something I've never done before. And that goes back to getting uncomfortable. And they stood with me. They walked with me. And I remember playing Donnie McClurkin on repeat. And I kept saying, I don't know why you chose me to go through this. It's tiring. Like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing it anyway. But I trust you. And I had just started a new job. Just got on the training floor. Just got out of training. And I had to call out for 28 days. Every day. When I thought I was going to make it to work, couldn't make it to work. Had to come right back in the house. Had to be on assignment. And I literally said, Lord, you gave me the job, so I'm going to trust you. And by the goodness of God, that job was still here. Despite how many times I had to call off. And I was like, God, what do you want me to do? Because in that season, when I said I had to trust him, and like I've been through so many other things where I'm like, okay, Lord, I trust you. But I feel like that was a season where the shift really took place in my life, where he was really showing me like, I'm calling you to do something that you've never done before. And even if you've never done it, just trust me, because I'm going to give you what you need to be prepared. So even with my upbringing, when I didn't understand what was taking place or how to even process it in that moment, he still showed me that if you trust me, I'm going to get you through it. Your story may not seem like the prettiest thing right now, but you're going to get through it. And I remember a word that was given to me in 2023, and it's literally openly, he said, beautiful but broken. That's exactly what I was. And the outside, it was, oh, she's pretty. But inside, I was broken. I remember when I met my spiritual mother, it was in November 2022. I had just got out of a fast, and it was like, 2-something in the morning, and we're on the phone, and my goddaughter mother was on the line. And this is when we first met, and she started speaking to me about my business. And one thing she said to me was, it's like I see your heart, and it's bleeding. And that immediately woke me up. I was in bed listening to her. I went to my office, and I was just like, boo-hoo, to the point my goddaughter mom said, I've never heard her cry like this. But it felt like a moment of release.
Needed that.
And she was just saying, like, it's like if I could, she said, I know you far right now, because at this time I was living in Atlanta. She was like, it's like, I just want to hug you. I just want to hold you, because God is showing me your heart, and it's like, it's leaking. And it had me think about so much, and I'm like, she's not lying, because even though I'm carrying on, I'm walking through life, I'm doing what I need to do, I never sit in pain long. Like, I'll go through something and I'll be like, I'm okay. And I'll keep myself busy. So I don't really sit in it. So it was like, instead of me sitting there to deal with it, it was causing nothing but holes to be placed in my heart.
Yeah.
So in this whole time, I'm thinking, okay, I'm okay, but I'm literally leaking. Like, those pieces are falling apart because I'm not processing, I'm not dealing with it. It's just, okay, I cried for 5 minutes, wiped my tears, and said, all right, I ain't got time for this. I got money to make. I got to go do this. I got to go do that. And it's back on my grind. Let me go do this. Let me go do that. And when she said that to me, it made me realize I have to get to a place of not just saying I trust God, but not suppressing things. And this is why I speak to them all the time in my women's ministry, where I would say to them, you have to sit in it. That's the hardest part. Because when you have to sit in it and feel, it hurts. It hurts really bad. And when it really hit me what that process looked like, I remember I dealt with a loss. I was pregnant. I lost my child on my birthday. This was in 2023. And I lost 4. And with the previous ones, the loss was different. But that one in particular, I had to actually go through a full process of miscarrying. And I literally sat there and said, God, I just want to skip this part. But I know I got to go through the process. I can't skip this part. And I cried. I said, I really want to skip this part, because the experience of this one was different. The feeling of it was different. And then actually seeing my child in the palm of my hand, so it was different. And it's like, I couldn't hit skip if I wanted to, or fast forward. And I hated that. I hated it so bad. I was like, I just want to skip it. I don't want to feel what I'm feeling right now. I don't want to go through this process right now. I want to skip it. But he kept reminding me, you have to go through it. I need you to process it. Because the only way you can heal is to process it. Because the next time you have to deal with something similar, or the next time you have to encounter someone who's dealing with it, you'll be able to walk them through it. You can't walk no one through anything that you haven't been through. That's like me telling, oh yeah, you could get across the bridge. How? Have you crossed that bridge? Do you know what it takes to get on the other side?
Right.
And that's one thing with healing, is that you can only walk someone through the process if you allowed yourself to go through the process. I can't tell you, focus on healing, but I'm still broken. I can't tell you, girl, keep pushing. But the minute I have to push, I just stop. And I just sit there. And I just say, well, I can't do it. So for me, even though my upbringing wasn't the easiest, but if I had to change it, I honestly wouldn't. It made me exactly who I am today. The mindset that I have, the way I handle things, the way I present myself, the way I get out of situations, the way I can trust God. I feel like had I had it differently, I don't think I would know God the way that I know him today. I don't think I'll be able to say, girl, it's okay. Give it to God, and literally give it to God for real. So with that process, even though I still have my seasons, even at 35, I still need my mama. I'll be like, Lord, I wish I could call her and tell her what just happened. And I don't have that opportunity. But because I had to go through it, I had to process it. I can hold the next woman's hand and say, I'm not going to tell you it's going to be okay overnight, because it's not. And it's okay. But you will get to a time in a season where even though you don't have her or him, because losing a parent, regardless, is tough. But you can still take what they gave you. Because even now as an adult, I'm able to repeat some things my mama said and be like, oh, my mama told me this. You know, so I still had something to take with me, even if I didn't have what I thought or may think or feel like I need now. But I was able to get enough to hold on to that and take it with me through life. And even with how she presented herself as a woman in every aspect, I was able to take pieces from that and be like, my mom would have did it this way. You know, not bad habits, because we all have bad habits. It's understanding the difference of knowing what's good, what's bad, and what to take and what not to take. So it wasn't the easiest, but it definitely made me who I am. And I wouldn't honestly change that for nothing. Nothing.
I really enjoyed speaking with you ladies. We're actually going to continue. I definitely want to invite you ladies back because we have a lot to discuss. Our time has run out on this episode. Before we go, I want each of you ladies to look into your cameras and let the people know where they can find you, the services that you provide, and how they can support you in your ministries.
Okay. You want to go first? Or?
And happy birthday to you. You're celebrating your birthday, January 8th. Yes.
The year of evolution.
There we go.
Well, my name is Woodeline, as you all have heard. I do have a women ministry called the Women of Hope Community. We do have Bible study that we host every Monday night at 8 p.m. So it's open. You guys are welcome to join. You can shoot me a message, a DM. I'll be more than happy to converse with you guys. I also have a beauty service business, which is called Wax City, where I offer full body wax services, lash services, and so forth. I'm in the process of rebranding, coming back bigger and better. So you guys can definitely follow Wax City as well. I do have my other business, Unique Beauty and Cosmetique. So that's all things beauty. So I'm getting ready to relaunch my hair oils, some body fragrances, some body oils, some body butters. So it's all thing beauty. Yes, I have my hand a little bit of everything.
Building a temple.
I do host a conference every year that God has called me to do alongside with my spiritual mother beside me, which I'm thankful for, and it's called The Shift. So if you have not been to The Shift, I hope to see you guys at The Shift this year, and I can guarantee you, coming to The Shift, you will receive a shift, and you don't come out of the shift without a testimony. You would definitely come out of the shift with a testimony. So you guys can definitely hit the follow button. Shoot me a message. I'm not mean, I promise. I know sometimes I may look like it, but I promise you I'm not mean. And our ministry is still open to receive women from anywhere. We do our Bible studies virtually on Zoom. So any and everyone is welcome, and can't wait to converse with you guys.
Where can they follow you?
Oh, you can follow me on Virtuous Woodeline on Instagram, Women of Hope Community also on Instagram, Wax City also on Instagram, and actually it's Wax City by _UBC, and Unique Beauty Cosmetique on Instagram. So it's spelled in French. So of course it's COSMETIQUE. So you can follow me on my platforms on Instagram. TikTok, we're still building there. I'm trying to get comfortable with TikTok, but you can find Unique Beauty there. So.
Ms. Cherlyne.
Well, my name is Prophetess Cherlyne. I do have a ministry called Your Truth Ministry, where you can find me on TikTok as Prophetess Cherlyne on TikTok. I'm also a realtor. I also have a tax business. I've been in business for the past 15 plus years. Me and my husband is called New Age Net Group. Well, this tax season, if you don't have the right preparer, you know where to find me. On Facebook, Mrs. Cherlyne Charles, and also on Instagram, Mrs. Cherlyne Charles, where we provide services where we help you build a house, sell, rent, however you want. First time homes buyers program, we do it as well. In this season that we're helping people build their credit, we're helping people understand when it comes down to open up LLCs and businesses as entrepreneurship. So if you're in that season where you want to learn how to build a business, how to run a business, we do that as well at New Age Net Group. We're located in Hollandale. Again, you can reach us on Instagram, Mr. Numbers 305, and also Facebook, Mr. Numbers 305. It's in this season, God's been doing a lot of things building. So I want people to understand it's not just what you do, it's how you do it. Mm-hmm. And when we have our business, and I'm just saying for my mentor, that the business that we do have, we're managers. We don't own them. God is the CEO, and we're just here to manage and take on the blueprint of what he wants us to do. So in the season of building, let's be in a place of gathering all the information. Everyone has a gift and talent. There's something you can do out here. Don't just sit around here and think you're not qualified or not enough to do something. Put out a book, read something, get something to do, because you always have, there's something God has placed inside of all of you to be able to build, restore. And one thing for me, when it comes down to business, I used to always say that I'm leaving something for my kids. That was wrong. I was told from my mentor is the scripture in the Bible says that a man leave his inheritance for his children's children. So let's be in a place of being successful, expand, and evolve. Let's just get it. Let's get it.
Do I need to say any more? We're definitely going to continue talking. We're going to talk. You guys have tuned in to yet again another great conversation on how you holding up the podcast. And of course, I am Brooklyn Boone. If this message resonated with you, comment below. Let us know how you holding up. How you holding up. And don't forget, ask someone else as well. Stranger, friend, spouse, whomever it is. You just never know. Until the next time, do well, be blessed.
I said it twice, I hope you got it. I won't say it again. Talk to him. I got a podcast for that. Wanna talk business? I got contracts for that. Hey, 99 problems, got one answer for that. God, it's gonna work out. I drop gems just for that. Yeah, talk to him. I got a podcast for that. Wanna talk